This video will introduce APA referencing. We will start with briefly reviewing why referencing is important and what to reference. We will then look at how to reference specific types of resources, including books, journal articles, and websites using the APA style. Referencing is an important academic skill. There are a lot of reasons you need to reference, including to evidence your argument, to show your lecturer or supervisor how much research you have done, to give credit to other researchers whose ideas you have used, to avoid plagiarism, and to enable other people to track down the sources you have used. You need to reference other authors if you use facts, figures, ideas, or any other information that is not common knowledge. You also need to reference if you use ideas, words, theories, or exact language that another person has used. Publications that must be cited include books, chapters, articles, web pages, theses, and more. If in doubt, cite it. When constructing a reference, you need to provide sufficient information for someone else to find the same item. The specific information you need depends on what type of source you are referencing and on your department's referencing style. Generally, you will always need the title of the source, the author and/or editor, and the publication date. So how do we reference using the APA style? With APA referencing, there are two parts to remember: the in-text citation and the corresponding full reference in the reference list at the end of the paper. We will take a look now at how to construct in-text citations and how to generate a reference list. In-text citations need to be added within the body of your assignments wherever you're referring to another person's work. In-text citations need to have the author's surname and the year of publication. If there are two authors of the work, you add both surnames. If there are three or more authors of the work, you need to add the first author and then et al., which means and others. There are two different ways you will need to use in-text citations. The first is when you're referring to an author's work directly within the narrative of your assignment. In these cases, the author's name or names are written within the body of the text, with the year of publication directly afterwards in brackets. Some examples of this can be seen on the slide. Note that the "and" for multiple authors is written as a full word. The second way you will need to use in-text citations is when you're not directly using the author's name within the text of your assignment, but you still need the reference. This is common when paraphrasing or when completing literature reviews. In these situations, both the author's surname or surnames and the year of publication are within brackets. Note that there must be a comma between the author and the year, and that if there are multiple authors, the "and" must be an "and" symbol rather than the full word. Some examples of this are shown on the slide. The second part of APA referencing involves creating a reference list. This list appears at the end of your work and lists all of the sources cited in the main body of your text. The reference list should appear in alphabetical order by surname. Second and subsequent lines of each reference should be indented. There should be double spacing between different references, and each reference must end with a full stop unless the reference ends with a URL or a DOI. The way that each full reference is created depends on the type of resource you are referencing. What's important to remember is that you don't need to memorize any of the exact forms for references. You will never be asked to sit an exam and create references off the top of your head. Instead, you can use guidance to help you formulate your references. To access this guidance, head to the library homepage. From here, you need to scroll down until you see Referencing beneath Study and Research Support. Once on the referencing page, select your department from the drop-down menu and then press Go. You will then be taken to the referencing guide for your referencing style. You can select the type of resource you want to reference from the list or from the top navigation bar. Select the resource you wish to reference to navigate to a page with more details and examples of how to reference that resource type. On this slide, the top example shows the information the online guide gives you about how to format a reference for a journal article. Beneath this is an example from an actual article. As shown, for a journal article reference you need the author or author's surname and initials, the year of publication, the title of the article, the title of the journal, the volume and issue numbers, the page numbers, and for online articles the DOI. It's crucial to pay attention to the fine details with referencing, for example any italics, full stops, commas, and capital letters. Again, the top example on this slide shows the information the online guide gives you about how to format a reference, but this time it's for a book. Beneath this is an example of an actual book reference. As you can see, for a book reference you need the author or author's surname and initials, the year of publication, the title of the book, the edition number if it is not the first edition, and the publisher. Finally, here is an example of how to reference a web page. For this reference, you can see on the slide that you will need the author or author's surname and initials, the date the web page was published or last updated, the title of the web page, the website name, and the URL. There are of course other sources you may need to reference, but they should all be available within the APA Online Referencing Guide. If you're ever in any doubt or unsure, you can get in touch with the library. When it comes to formatting the reference list, as mentioned, the sources need to be listed in alphabetical order by surname, not in the order in which you cited them within the text. You will also need to double space and remember to add indentations. With all types of resource references, where there are multiple authors, these should all be listed with their surnames and initials rather than with et al. Like in in-text citations. If you are looking for further help and support with referencing, don't forget to refer back to the referencing pages on the library website. You can also email the library with any specific questions via libline@essex.ac.uk. The library also runs regular workshops about referencing, so keep an eye out for these on our social media channels and via our Workshops at Library page on the library website. Thanks for watching.